Welcome to my channel. Today, we take a quick look at three interesting coins that collectors often search for: the 5 cents Canada 1979 coin, the 1 dime 1967 coin, and the $quarter 1969 coin. Each one carries its own history, minting details and collectible value. So let's begin this short journey into numismatics. First, the 5 cents Canada 1979 coin. The 5 cents Canada 1979 coin is a small yet historically meaningful piece of Canadian currency that carries a legacy of the nation's evolving coinage system, reflecting both economic conditions and design traditions of its era. Struck by the Royal Canadian Mint, this coin is composed primarily of nickel, specifically 100% nickel, as this was a standard material used for Canadian nickels from 1968 to 1981 before transitioning back to multi-metal compositions. It features a diameter of 21.21 millimeters, a smooth edge with no reading, and weighs approximately 4.54 grams. The obverse side of the coin carries a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mackin. This portrait, used from 1965 to 1989, depicts her wearing a tiara and facing right, surrounded by the inscription Elizabeth II DG Regina, which stands for Dei Gratia Regina, meaning by the grace of God, Queen. The portrait evokes a regal appearance, aligning with Canada's continued identity as a Commonwealth nation under the British monarchy. The reverse of the coin showcases the iconic beaver sitting on a rock, an image deeply associated with Canadian identity due to the animal's major role in the fur trade during colonial history. The design was created by G. Krugergray and has been used on a Canadian 5-cent coin since 1937. Above the beaver, the word Canada appears, along with the coin's denomination 5 cents, and the year 1979 below. The design honors Canada's natural wildlife heritage and its ties to survival, trade, and historical development. The beaver is carefully engraved in a natural pose, often admired by collectors for its detailed and balanced composition. In terms of minting, this coin was produced at the Ottawa Mint without a mint mark, as Canadian coins of this period generally do not include such identifiers unless issued from special locations. The 1979 5 cents coin was minted in large quantities due to ongoing circulation demands, making it a common coin in general condition. While most coins from this year are abundant and of standard market value, select pieces that were preserved in excellent condition can hold higher worth. In circulated condition, most examples are valued roughly around their face value or slightly above, typically between 5 cents to 25 cents USD, depending on wear, appearance, and regional demand. However, those in uncirculated condition, MS grades, may reach values of $1 to 20 US dollars, especially if graded professionally. Exceptional specimens in high mint state, MS 65 or above, might fetch even higher prices among specialized collectors. Some collectors also seek coins with errors or varieties, though no major widespread mint errors are known for the 1979 Canadian nickel. However, occasional off-center strikes, planchet flaws, die cracks, or misalignment pieces may exist and can significantly raise the value. Error coins can be valued anywhere from $25 to several $100s, depending on rarity and severity. Another possible collectible feature is full luster and sharp strike, including clean details of the beaver's fur, waterlines, and Queen's hair design on the obverse. Coins exhibiting deep mirror-like fields, proof-like strikes, from mint sets can also carry higher value. The 1979 nickel forms part of Canada's broader decimal coinage system, which transitioned away from the silver-based monetary designs to more practical, modern materials. During this period, inflation and rising metal costs meant the mint had to balance durability and affordability. Nickel proved successful for everyday use, being highly resistant to corrosion and maintaining its brightness. The coin was issued during the reign of Prime Minister Joe Clark, who briefly led Canada in 1979 before Pierre Trudeau took office again. Although not directly influencing coinage, this context helps understand the era's economic climate, which was marked by rising energy concerns, international trade shifts, and government transitions. Collectors often regard this coin as part of the late 20th century modern series, valuable mainly for completing yearly sets rather than for high intrinsic rarity. Many people internationally collect Canadian coins due to their clean designs and strong conservation themes, and the 1979 nickel is commonly found in inherited collections, coin jars, and older circulation stock. Some examples were preserved in special edition or proof-like mint sets issued by the Royal Canadian Mint in 1979, and these versions are of much higher quality, showing strong strike, polished surfaces, and minimal marks. These collector sets were often purchased as gifts or for investment purposes, leading to better survival rates for high-grade coins. If stored properly away from moisture and friction, the nickel material retains its silvery gray sheen, but coins found in circulation may show toning, scratches, denting, dulling, or surface oxidation. Professional collectors use grading standards like those from PCGS or NGC. Grades commonly range from fine F12 for worn circulation coins up to mint state MS65, MS67 for pristine pieces. Only a few examples exceed MS67, making those highly desirable for registry sets. Although not considered a rare date, the coin still holds nostalgic and educational value, especially for Canadian citizens and collectors tracing historical minting patterns. The design used in 1979 remained highly consistent until the introduction of steel-based nickel coins coated with nickel plating in 2000, making this example one of the last true pure nickel issues. From an investment perspective, while most pieces hold modest financial value, higher-grade versions and era varieties may grow in value over time as interest in vintage Canadian coins increases. Additionally, the year 1979 saw no major design changes or special ceremonial issues for the nickel, but it contributes to the final era before modern security features were introduced. Its long-term recognition comes from being part of Canada's stable coinage set that hasn't changed dramatically until the introduction of more modern monarch designs. The coin also predates the Canadian $1 loonie introduced in 1987, which shifted attention from lesser denominations. Overall, the 5 cents Canada 1979 coin stands as a representative example of mid-century Canadian coinage, notable for its durable nickel composition, timeless beaver design, and classical portrait of Queen Elizabeth II. While everyday value remains low, collectors appreciate it for completing year sets, showing historical continuity and highlighting Canada's natural symbolism. Pristine, mint state, or error examples can attract premiums, while circulated pieces often hold sentimental interest for collectors or families in possession of vintage change. With growing global interest in pre-2000 Canadian coins, there is potential for preserved 1979 pieces to gain collectible interest over time, particularly if presented in certified condition or alongside other era-relevant coins. Moving to the $1 1967 coin, issued to celebrate Canada's centennial year. The 1967 Canadian $1 is a highly celebrated and collectible coin issued to mark Canada's centennial year, commemorating 100 years since Confederation, 1867 to 1967. Unlike regular dimes with a traditional blue-nose schooner reverse design, the 1967 dime carries a special wildlife design featuring a mackerel, symbolizing Canada's rich marine life. This coin is historically significant, artistically unique, and numismatically valuable, especially in higher-grade conditions or special compositions. The coin was part of a commemorative series designed by the renowned Canadian artist Alex Colville, whose initials AC appear subtly on the reverse. The mackerel design was chosen to reflect motion, vitality, and connection to nature. Above the fish is the inscription Canada 1967, and below it the denomination 10 cents, with the mackerel swimming horizontally across the coin. This design was issued for only 1 year, making it a standout piece in Canadian coinage history. The obverse of the coin features a portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, designed by Arnold Mackin, showing her facing right, wearing a tiara, with the surrounding inscription Elizabeth II Digi Regina, which stands for Dei Gratia Regina, by the grace of God, Queen. This was the second official portrait of the Queen used on Canadian coins from 1965 to 1989. The design is elegant and minimalist compared to later versions, reflecting the youthful appearance of the Queen at the time. In terms of composition, most circulated 1967 dimes are made of 80% silver and 20% copper, weighing 2.33 grams with a diameter of 18.03 millimeters and a reeded edge. However, later in 1967, due to increasing silver prices, some coins were minted in a 50% silver/50% copper composition, making two different varieties. Both look identical, but the 80% silver version is more sought after. The Royal Canadian Mint did not mark composition differences on the coins, so determination must be made by weighing, specific gravity tests, or XRS scanning. The high silver content gives it intrinsic melt value, which varies with current silver prices, often above face value. The coin was minted in very large quantities due to the popularity of the centennial celebration and extensive circulation use. Approximately 61.5 million coins were struck overall, including proof-like and collector versions. Because it circulated widely, most surviving examples show wear. In general circulated condition, this coin is typically worth $1 to $3 based on silver content alone. Higher-grade uncirculated pieces can range from $5 to $25, while coins in mint state 65 or higher may command $50 to $160 plus, depending on eye appeal, luster, and certification. Special proof-like and specimen coins, which were included in Royal Canadian Mint sets, have higher value and may exhibit mirror-like fields or frosted designs, cameo effect. Some centennial sets were stored well and command significant premiums today, especially if fully preserved. The highest grade certified coins, MS67+, can reach hundreds of dollars. Full strike specimens showing sharp details on the fish scales and queen's hair are highly desirable. Rare error varieties exist and are extremely collectible, though not commonly found. Some known errors include die cracks, off-center strikes, planchet errors. Rotation misalignment value of such errors ranges from $50 to several $100s, depending on severity and uniqueness. The macro design was somewhat controversial, as some people nicknamed the coin the fish dime, and critics claimed the macro symbolized something cheap or common. In contrast, many collectors and conservationists praise the design for highlighting Canada's natural biodiversity. Today, it is widely appreciated as part of the most artistic circulation series ever issued in Canada. The 1967 dime holds significant sentimental and historical value, marking Canada's centennial celebration during the tenure of Prime Minister Lester B. Pearson, one of the most influential leaders in Canadian history. It was a time of national pride, modernization, and identity development. The commemorative coins from that year reflected cultural unity, and the series remains cherished by collectors worldwide. From a numismatic and investment standpoint, the 1967 dime is considered common in circulated grades, semi-scarce in high-grade mint state, valuable in proof-like or specimen qualities, more desirable in 80% silver composition, exceptionally collectible when sold as complete 1967 centennial sets. Over time, demand for centennial coins has increased, particularly as silver prices rise and collectors seek complete date series. Uncleaned, original surface coins are preferred, especially if free from scratches or hairline marks. The coin should be stored in a dry, stable environment away from humidity or corrosive materials, as silver can tarnish over time and develop toning. Natural toning may increase value if attractive, especially golden or multicolor rainbow toning. The 1967 commemorative series also included other wildlife designs such as a dove cent, rabbit 5 cents, mackerel 10 cents, lynx 25 cents, wolf 50 cents, and Canada goose $1, making the dime part of a meaningful and artistically unified collection. It is often recommended to collect the entire 1967 wildlife series for better display and historical representation. In conclusion, the 1967 Canadian one dime is a historically important, artistically unique, and widely collected coin due to its centennial significance, silver content, and one-year-only wildlife design. While common in low grades, high-grade, or special issue pieces remain valuable and sought after. Its elegant portrayal of the mackerel, along with the youthful portrait of Queen Elizabeth II, makes it an iconic piece in Canadian coinage history that continues to attract collectors globally, both for numismatic interest and investment potential. Finally, the $quarter-dollar 1969 D coin from the United States. The 1969 D. Washington quarter is a United States 25-cent coin minted at the Denver Mint, marked by the D Mint mark, and is part of the long-running Washington quarter series that began in 1932. This coin was issued during the presidency of Richard Nixon and represents one of the early years of the U.S. quarter struck in a copper-nickel-clad composition. Following the removal of silver content from circulating quarters in 1965 due to rising silver prices and economic changes, it is a significant example of modern U.S. coinage transition, and while common in circulated conditions, it holds notable collector value in high mint state grades, and especially with specific rare varieties. The coin's composition consists of an outer layer of 75% copper and 25% nickel bonded to a pure copper core. This gave the coin a total weight of 5.67 grams, with a diameter of 24.3 millimeters and a reeded edge. This structure provided durability for circulation, but lacks the intrinsic silver content seen in pre-1965 quarters. The shift was a major turning point in American numismatics, making 1969 quarters among the earlier clad generation issues. On the obverse front of the coin, it features the iconic portrait of George Washington, the first president of the United States, designed by sculptor John Flanagan. Washington is shown facing left, with the inscriptions Liberty arching above, In God We Trust to the left near his chin, and the year 1969 positioned at the bottom. The design is dignified and traditional, marking continuity in U.S. coin imagery. The D Mint mark is located just to the right of the bow in Washington's hair ribbon, above the date, indicating that it was produced at the Denver Mint. On the reverse back, the design features a detailed American bald eagle perched on a bundle of arrows, symbolizing strength and defense readiness. Below the eagle are two olive branches representing peace. The reverse design was also created by John Flanagan and is surrounded by inscriptions: United States of America at the top, E Pluribus Unum just above the eagle, and $quarter at the bottom. The symbolism reflects the United States' core values of liberty, peace, and preparedness. A total of 114,372,1969 D quarters were struck, making this a high minted circulation coin, generally considered common in circulated condition. Most examples today show moderate to heavy wear from circulation. In average circulated condition, the coin typically holds only face value, $0.25 to around $0.50. However, in uncirculated condition mint state, the coin becomes much more collectible. Prices range from $5 to $20 in MS-60, MS-63, and from $25 to $70 in MS-64, MS-65. Coins graded MS-67 or higher are very scarce and can reach values of $500 to over $1,500, especially if they display excellent strike, luster, and minimal marks. Coins with full drum detail, sharp reverse strike, carry extra peel. There are no major official varieties for the 1969 D quarter, but collectors actively search for minting errors and high-grade examples. Notable error types may include off-center strikes, clip planchets, die cracks or cuds. Double die errors rare. Depending on severity, error examples can range from $50 to several $100s, particularly when visually dramatic. One important point for collectors is that although the coin does not contain silver, it remains historically important as part of the early clad series, and the 1969 D is known for sometimes showing weaker strikes and dull luster compared to earlier silver issues. High-quality examples with strong details, sharp eagle feathers, and a clean surface free from bag marks are considerably harder to find, which increases their desirability. Coins from this period were heavily circulated, and very few were intentionally saved in mint condition. Some 1969 D quarters also appear with toning, including golden, blue, or multicolor rainbows, often caused by long-term storage in coin albums or paper rolls. Attractive toning can push values higher, especially when certified by grading services such as PCGS Professional Coin Grading Service or NGC Numismatic Guarantee Company. From a historical perspective, the coins circulated during a time of political and economic transition. The late 1960s saw inflation concerns, the end of silver coinage for circulation, and significant societal change in America. While these events did not cause design changes for quarter, they directly impacted its composition and production. The 1969 D quarter is part of the standard Washington quarter series used until 1998, before being replaced by the 50-state quarters program beginning in 1999. From a numismatic classification standpoint, the 1969 D is considered common in worn condition, moderately scarce in high MS grades, MS 66+, rare in MS 67 and above, potentially valuable with striking error or certified exceptional quality. Long-term, while normal examples are not considered investment grade, top condition, or certified high-grade coins may appreciate as collectors pursue high-quality Washington quarters from the clad era. Coins with dramatic errors or high registry set appeal hold more potential value. Overall, the 1969 D Washington quarter is a representative example of post-silver U.S. circulating coinage, carrying historic significance primarily due to its role in the first generation of clad quarters. Although it lacks precious metal content, the coin remains collectible for its role in American monetary history, especially for those building full-series date/mint collections. Only exceptional mint state or error specimens hold strong market value, while most regular circulated pieces are common and primarily of interest to hobby collectors or for historical completeness of a coin series. Proper preservation involves keeping the coin in protective holders, avoiding cleaning as this reduces value, and storing in a low-humidity environment. Certified grading can substantially increase credibility and market demand for high-grade examples. While the typical circulation coin holds minimal value, pristine examples represent notable collectible pieces, reflecting the evolving era of U.S. coinage in the late 1960s and the continued legacy of the Washington quarter series. So, if you have any of these coins in good condition or suspect an error, it might be worth examining carefully. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you love coin collecting. See you in the next video.